We're good.
I shall call the meeting to order. It's Monday, December 16th, 2024, 6:30. This is the Lisbon Board of Education regular meeting agenda for the month of December. Everybody's present except for Jen is not going to be here and Lauren's going to be a little late. We have a bunch of kids in public back there. So maybe we can get one of our student ambassadors to lead us in the pledge, please. Thank you. Okay. Public comment? Do we have any public comment? Public? No comment. All right. Correspondence to the Board of Education, we don't have any. Report from the Lisbon Central School Ambassadors. All three of them are here. Awesome. Got it.
Hello, my name is Trey Nogowski, and I'm happy to be the student ambassador for the 8th grade class. In ELA, we're now reading some American classics books like The Gift of the Magi. In math, we are learning how to find the y-intercept on a graph for inequalities. In social studies, we are learning about the American Revolution. In Spanish, we are learning about the vocabulary for sports. In science, we are learning about velocity and its changes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie Vane, your 7th grade student ambassador. In all my classes, we've been working on. In science, we've been doing an experiment with beans. In math, we've been working on a test for the past week. What we have been working on through this marking period. In social studies, we've been learning about Caribbean South America. In Spanish, we've been learning about verbs from our new vocab sheet. In LA, we've been working on independent reading for 20 minutes each day. We've been working on wordly wise and learning about concrete and absolute nouns and writing tips. Thanks for listening. Have a great night and happy holidays. Hi, my name is Alexis Bailois, and I am your 6th grade student ambassador. And in this paragraph, I will be telling you about what I'm doing in my classes. In ELA, we are writing a children's book that must have a moral. We are also reading a book called 910 about 9/11. In math, we are working on positives and negatives and putting them on number lines. In science, we are dissecting frogs and comparing their bodies to a human's body. In social studies, we are reading myths about the ancient Greeks along with their beliefs in God and goddesses. And lastly, in health, we are working on CPR and what to do when somebody goes into cardiac arrest.
Great, thank you. Okay, thank you. What's that? Dissecting frogs. Cool. All right. So we have the minutes from the November meeting, November 25th. I hope everybody had a chance to review them. I didn't find the errors. Did anybody else find the errors? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the regular Board of Education minutes from Monday, November 25th, 2024. Karen seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Motion passes. Okay, administrators reports. Mr. Sheldon.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to announce the November Students of the Month. Congratulations to Olivia Field, Jaylana O'Rourke, Lucia Swan, Brady Nelson, Easton Fontaine, Jelena Moe, Miranda Malaga, Violet Stebbins, and Alexandra Aradu. Nice job to these students for demonstrating the tenets of Cougar Pride and being respectful, responsible, safe, and trustworthy. Next, I'd like to invite you all to our winter band concert, which will be this coming Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the gym. And then we'll have a presentation of the assembly in the morning for all of our kids. So we'll be able to preview. Looking forward to it. And that's all.
Nice, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sheldon? No? All right, moving on, Ms. Sullivan.
Good evening, everybody. Our special ed numbers are actually the same as last month, holding strong at 91. So we had no changes. It does not say that? Mine says 91.
It said November was 91, so December was 89.
Oh. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong paper then. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you can get back to us on that. We'll move on.
yeah, that's all.
You have anything else?
No, I didn't, just numbers tonight.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Sullivan? All right, business office, Ms. Paradis.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This month we had, or last month rather, we had the auditors came out for their second in-person of the year rather. Went well, it was a full day, they were here after 5 p.m., but we had about 5 items, if you will, that they wanted attention to, 3 of which have already been cleaned up, and we're working with them to address the final 2 issues. And he was busy through this month and into January, and expected sort of a report in February. So that's the auditors.
All right, great. Anything else? No?
Nope.
Anybody have any questions? All right, good. Moving on. Mr. McGlue.
Yeah, so in your packet, you saw the letter from the state. They accepted our level 2 assessment and have returned us back to quarterly water sampling. So that is a good thing. We did it. So that's a positive. Last month, we also talked about HVAC, and the question was asked about if there was a grant available, and there actually is no grant. It would be a reimbursement project through the DAS if we were to move forward. When we move forward, we will be moving forward on some air conditioning stuff. The other one was, if there's no questions on that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the way I read this, it seems like they've extended the program out to 2029.
31, I believe.
31.
Yeah. So over that course of these next few years, up to 31, we have to do 20% of our building.
Right, but it also says that we have to have an assessment done before the end of 2024. Have we had that assessment done?
We had the assessment, if that's the same one, was the one that we approved back in June, where they checked our, the board approved the indoor air quality forms, and we posted them on our website.
So that qualifies as the assessment?
I think we had.
It sounded to me like when I was reading this, that it's supposed to be done by an outside activity, full HVAC inspection assessment.
You know what? I don't really have the answer for that, but I can find out.
All right, let's find out, because if we have to do it by the end of 2024, I don't want to miss that.
Gotcha.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. The other thing is on the walkway, during the project, the contractor broke the slab for the underground oil tank, fuel tank. And the engineer came out, looked at it, and it's going to have him jackhammer it out. But with it being a fuel tank down there, he was a little nervous about that. So he asked if it'd be okay if they patched it. I said the only way I would accept that is if they do a tank test. If tank test passed, I'll go with it. So did a tank test passed. I also said that the contract has to pay for this test, and he's going to submit the invoice to the contractor. Also during this, we had our service station equipment come out and do our yearly on the tank, and they found part of the crack could have caused the spill bucket to fail. So the spill bucket has to be tested, has to hold water or whatever for so many minutes, and it wasn't holding. So we're going to give this to the contractor to repair it. It's about $4,000. Yeah. But this has all been brought through the engineer who's pushing this as well.
Great.
Yep.
Keep us posted on that.
The only other thing I have is we mentioned last month about a camera.
Yep.
And if we were to sit there and upgrade the camera were about $4,700 to
And that's
upgrade
to
the camera
cover the blind spot back here?
on the blind spot on the playground. So I just got that quote this afternoon.
All right, is that it?
Yep.
Anybody have any questions, Mr. Blue? All right, thank you. Ms. Keating?
Yes, thank you. I want to take this time, it's a great time with everyone in the audience, to commend and thank Mike Rossi, our food services director, known as the CAF king to our kids, and his team, Stephanie Adams, Lana Nash, Heather Pina, Wendy Ferguson, and substitute Michelle Crandall, for their hard work and ongoing dedication to our LCS students, our staff, and the whole community. They always have a smile on their face. They really do. And they serve our students always happily. They're extremely flexible when there are changes in the schedule, like delays or early dismissals or whatever. They just do what they have to do. They get involved with community functions like the senior luncheon, PTO events. Thank you, PTO, by the way, for everything you've done. Such as the Santa breakfast. I was just thinking of a couple. Parent-teacher conferences, the meals for that. They help administration put on a luncheon for the staff. They always work together as a team. I never hear, and I go in there every morning for a lot of reasons. But anyway, I never hear that's not my job. When they talk to each other, I never hear it. And I think that's commendable. Why are they like that? Well, first of all, they're very good people, great employees. I think Mike Rossi's leadership goes a long way. He's a great role model. He works way beyond his scheduled hours. He comes in weekends sometimes. He's just not a 7-hour per day kind of guy. And I know, I can see, hello. Anyway, I just want to say it one more time. It means a lot to me. It means a lot, I know, to administration and to the whole community. They are a great team. We're lucky to have them, and we thank them for everything they do. Okay, budget. Oh, should I go on? I have one more topic. Okay, budget prep. Just so you know, the LCS staff, we've been busy researching and organizing our requests for the 2025-2026 budget. Administrators are now collating everything. We are in the midst of composing books. We will begin looking at the requests and prioritizing this week. However, I do want you all to know that, particularly those on the finance committee, that you will not have the books then, but we can at least give a summary of where we are in the budget process, set up a schedule for the meetings after the holidays, and answer questions if you have any. We're expecting after the holidays to have the books done. Correct. Oh, the meeting, by the way, is Thursday, room 36. I don't know, was it before? That's the end of my speech.
Ms. Keating? All right, great, thank you. All right, moving on to consent agenda, we approval of monthly expenditures. So, hopefully everybody had a chance to review them. I need a motion to approve the monthly expenditures for November 2024, fiscal year 24-25, in the amount of $678,636.25. Randy, Joe, seconds. Any discussion? Yep.
Line for other employee benefits. I was just wondering what that was and why there's a negative in there. I don't remember what's in there. Or you could always get.
Why it's a negative.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it deeper to get exactly what comprises that object code and all those groupings. Hopefully it's just something that's being coded to the wrong account, because within that 290 there could be 5-10 lines totaling.
I thought you told me it was MERS.
MERS, I believe, is MERS could be included in 290.
Okay.
Hello? Yes. I think last time that this came up, and you researched it, I believe it was MERS, Jonathan. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
look-
factor. Yeah.
Yeah, let me confirm that, and I'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question. Would it be possible to break line item 510 out into regular education transportation and special education transportation?
Yes, in this report, not necessarily, but I can totally print you a different report to demonstrate that this is all linked by object code, which is the last three numbers. But I can print out a detailed report of that specific one. Or we can certainly discuss in the finance committee as well. We could sort of uncode them, if you will, like assign one a totally different object code.
Yeah.
But all of our transportation is listed as 510.
Right.
But if you wanted for whether I email you or for next month, I could bring you a detailed
But I
report.
think every year we find ourselves in the red on that, and it's normally special education transportation. It'd be nice to break that out and see exactly what the breakdown is.
Yeah, no, I looked at it this week. It is negative because the special ed one is negative. I believe there's 3 or 4 special ed transportation line items, and then you have our regular ed transportation, our field trip transportation, and student activities as well within there. But I can totally print out a detailed report and share that.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion on the table. It was seconded. Any other discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. So now we need a motion to approve the financial statement for November 2024, fiscal year 24-25, as presented by the administration. Randy, second. Joe, all's in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right. Next up, presentation students with the highest. Oh, what?
Best part of the meeting.
Yeah. Students with the highest achievement, most growth on SBAC scores. That must be why these guys are here.
I'm going to turn this and come over here. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be part of this celebration. We're celebrating our perfect scores and our achievement scores for SBAC this evening. So I'm so glad to see so many students here to celebrate with us. So first, I'd like to do perfect score in math for one of our graduates. I'm not sure if Jack Dempsey is here. You are, Jack. Come on up. So Jack Dempsey has been recognized for outstanding performance on the 2024 SBAC assessment. Jack achieved a perfect score on the math assessment. All right, next one is another perfect score. Luke Rankowitz. Luke Rankowitz has been recognized for outstanding performance on the 2024 SBAC assessment. Luke achieved a perfect score on the math assessment. All right, the next 2 awards goes to one individual, Sage Nowakowski. Now, Sage has a perfect score for ELA and for the science. So I'm going to read them both, so it just goes on record here. Sage Nowakowski has been recognized for outstanding performance on the 2024 SBAC assessment. Sage achieved a perfect score on the ELA assessment. Sage Nowakowski has been recognized for outstanding performance on the 2024 NGSS assessment. Sage achieved a perfect score on the science assessment. Next, we're going to celebrate highest growth achievement. So the first one is for another grad, Anthony DeVoe. Is Anthony here? I want to read it out so everyone can hear it. Anthony DeVoe has been recognized for outstanding growth in ELA as demonstrated on the 2024 SBAC assessment. Anthony grew 173 points on the ELA assessment. Congratulations to Anthony. Next growth goes to Colin Tully. Colin Tully has been recognized for outstanding growth in ELA. As demonstrated on the 2024 SBAC assessment, Colin grew 182 points on the ELA assessment. Next growth goes to Ethan Crandall. Ethan Crandall has been recognized for outstanding growth in ELA as demonstrated in the 2024 SBAC assessment. Ethan grew 181 points on the ELA assessment. Continuing with student growth, we have Maya Kalasa. Is Maya here? All right, I'm going to read it out for everybody. So Maya Kalasa has been recognized for outstanding growth in math. As demonstrated on the 2024 SBAC assessment, Maya grew 150 points on the math assessment. Congratulations to Maya. Our next growth award goes to Dylan Pina. Dylan Pina has been recognized for outstanding growth in math. As demonstrated on the 2024 SBAC assessment, Dylan grew 154 points on the math assessment. Congratulations, Dylan. And our next growth goes to Madison Iloff. Madison Iloff has been recognized for outstanding growth in math. As demonstrated on the 2024 SBAC assessment, Madison grew 132 points on the math assessment. Congratulations. Congratulations, and thank you all for attending. We're very proud of all of you.
Awesome. Very good. Okay. Thank you. Presentation by Novus. We got to turn around. Absolutely. I just want to share this.
All right. I've been in public education for over 20 years. I started actually as a math teacher, and I worked my way up all the way to director of technology. And so I've worked with a lot of different. Okay. All right. I'll stand back a little bit. All right. So I've worked with a lot of districts in creating these long-range technology plans, understanding the underlying piece of that is the total cost of ownership. And Eric has a lot of experience, a wealth of experience in municipalities, governments, and nonprofits. And tonight we're here to talk to you about a plan in the technology and understanding and supporting you of how to enhance the learning in Lisbon Public Schools in a safe and secure environment. Because we want to make sure that everybody gets the right technology. Now, in creating a technology plan, a long-range plan with that underlying piece of understanding that total cost of ownership, it's really built on these 5 building blocks here, which is our instructional technology. So understanding our students and using that technology, what are they using it for? They're sharing, they're accessing that enriched content, they're collaborating. Our staff, what are they doing with their technology and them engaging students and getting to that enriched content. And all that instructional technology needs to be built upon having some professional development. Because anytime a new software, a new program comes on board, they need to be taught how to use it. They need to be taught best practices and how to use it. And then we have our family and our community. How do we engage? How do we let our community know what we're doing and how that technology impacts our teaching and learning environment? And that's built upon that foundational pieces of policies, acceptable use policy, bring your own device policy. There's a lot of different policies, but making sure we're protecting that personable, identifiable information of our staff and our students, and then making sure our resources are reliable and we have a safe and secure network. Now, the total cost of ownership, which is that underlying piece of understanding this to build that long-range technology plan. The first piece is with federal funding ending, a long-term technology lifecycle plan is needed to ensure system reliability, provide financial predictability, and prevent technical debt. And this is one of the most important pieces of building that long-range plan. And we've broken it out into just really three sections. And in the budget, that's really how it should be laid out, is our hardware, our software, and our services. So this is taking a look at kind of the current status of where Lisbon is at right now. There's kind of been a 2-year, tech debt kind of going on where there hasn't been all that funding put into that technology, which has kind of led to a little bit of falling behind. And we need to create that plan to catch up, to be innovative, and to move forward. So right now, there are some unsupported iPads. The break-fix Chromebook plan is going to be out at the end of the 24-25 year. Those older iPads with the older operating systems. There's some Windows laptops and desktops that won't be allowed to go to Windows 11. They'll just be on Windows 10 and they can't move up to the next operating system, which then creates a problem with security patches and stuff in those devices. And then there's 4 UPSs that need replacement, which is going through E-rate. So any infrastructure, so the stuff that's in the network closet, switches and servers and all that, that can go through E-rate, which then there's a part of that reimbursement. And those are the battery backups in the network closets. And then the software, we've been working with Lisbon to help, bridge out that software, having those software in the line items, understanding the software and, what is a monthly, yearly, multi-year contract in there, what softwares can kind of be combined in there to create some efficiencies and some cost savings. And then the services. Tech debt creates a reactive instead of proactive environment, which hinders the learning experience and simultaneously increases labor costs, which then gets passed on to the vendors or Lisbon in this particular case. So we're going to break these 3 things down pretty quickly tonight, and this is a quick presentation because we have a small time slot to fit this in, but please stop me if you do have any questions, or Eric, when Eric comes up here. The first one is looking at hardware, and it's really a 3 to 5 year refresh plan. And so I just built an example in there. So Lisbon has about 372 Chromebooks in inventory. And so a life cycle would be meaning that every 4 years, you have those Chromebooks out, and then the 5th year, the students get new Chromebooks. And then you rotate that. And so it's 372 divided by 5, and then you get 75 Chromebooks a year into the budget. And then you would repeat that process for your iPads, your laptops, servers, printers, any technology equipment that's in the district, and then you come up with kind of that total cost of ownership. And then you have to add in any project plans, so installation, setups costs. There's always that one-time fee when it comes to software and things that get added into that to make sure that it functions properly in the environment. Because anytime you bring in new hardware and stuff, it has to be set up with the right parameters inside to fit in this environment. And then adding an offset fund. And this is something that some districts do, not all the districts do. Highly recommended of having an offset fund because there's things like switches, Promethean boards, wireless access points, phone systems that you don't replace every single year. You wouldn't buy 5 phones a year waiting for them to break, right? These are things that are long-term. Fire departments do this with fire trucks and things that they're going to need, 6, 8, 10 years from now. And you have a fund offset where you're putting a little money into that so then when you need a new wireless system or you need new switches, the money is there for that last year, that last 2,000 or whatever you're putting into it, and then you're able to replace the system. You're not trying to come up with $30, $40, $50,000 in that 1 year span to replace that big entire system. And so that is definitely recommended to put something like that in the budget for those things that are not replaced on a regular basis. And then when it comes to the software, looking at the software, having individual line items. And this is the same thing for hardware. So Chromebooks, laptops, having everything labeled out, not just under a technology supplies, but have everything labeled out. What is monthly? What is yearly? What are some of those subscriptions that fall into that multi-year contract subscriptions? And then looking at what are some of the softwares that we have, and different softwares build different modules, and so you can kind of start combining softwares and have it on one platform, and then you can try to find some cost savings in that by working with those particular vendors. So if we have 3 different pieces of software that are doing 3 different things, we might be able to combine that into one piece of software, because softwares continually grow, and larger companies and vendors buy out smaller vendors, and that's kind of how that works. And then there's opportunities to add software. So curriculum should be driving the technology purchasing, and curriculum is very, very important. So whether it's new softwares in the curriculum, or in this particular case we have on here, which is one of the things we talked about was know before training, which is that security professional development, so teachers understand about keeping the personal identifiable information secure, knowing about ransomware attacks, and knowing about email phishing, all that, of having that on a regular basis so teachers can understand. And then we're going to move on to our services piece, and Eric's going to take over here where our manages services, so everybody understands what it is that we provide to Lisbon Public Schools.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Boone. I'll walk through this next part of the presentation. Again, I'll speak quickly in the interest of time, but at any point in time, please stop me if you need to. Typically with IT, folks look at everything that could be IT, calls on to the IT vendor. But we have a scope of services that provides mostly everything, but there is still some limitations as to what we currently provide. Right now, we provide annual ECIO, which is Chief Information Officer. Us being here as part of that, right? Coming here to talk and advise Lisbon schools and administrative staff. Remote support, which is very typical, where if there's a question that staff have, they just pop in a ticket, and then somebody can instantly respond. We also have on-site technicians that are scheduled to be here 16 hours every week, as well as 8 hours a month of advanced support from a senior level technician. And we have emergency escalation support, which is essentially insurance policy. All of our clients pay into it, and then if there's a major need, we can come and spend the effort to deal with an emergency situation quickly. As well as quality assurance, we have an independent part of our organization that goes in and makes sure that our techs that are on site are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then we have the other technologies that we support you with, which is monitoring services, as well as hosting, security services, and website. So post-pandemic pricing realignment, we currently treat all of our support services as if they're an insurance policy. So when we work with the leadership of a school district or a nonprofit or a town, we come up with what is a best guess as to what those services are. So the 16 hours a week and the 8 hours, off schedule type support. Once we set that for that year, we support the client regardless of the effort within reason. So we're not going to nickel and dime. We're not going to, stop service that some vendors do. We're going to work with the client, make sure they get what they need. And then if it's a one-time spike, we just absorb it just like any insurance policy. If it's a reoccurring thing, we sit down and have a discussion, leadership, and say, hey, either there's a need, there's some misalignment, we need to talk about and adjust it. Unlike insurance companies, we do not seek to maintain large margins. We came out of a nonprofit, and we had to spin off into an independent organization due to mission creep. But we all come from either the teachers, nonprofit, or government. That is our background. That is our focus. So we seek to have a small profit margin on any contract, and that is used to support other clients in need. So if Lisbon had a major issue and went over, we can support that year by using little bits here and there from others, and it gets passed around. So during the pandemic period, IT labor rates skyrocketed. So they outpaced inflation by 77 to 200 or 200%. So what that means is from when we started benchmarking in 2018, which is pre-pandemic, through 2024, the Connecticut Consumer Price Index, the inflation rate went up by 22%. IT salaries went up, benchmarked, not by us, but by salary.com, but benchmarked between 39 and 68% increase, depending on the level of tech and skill sets. This is due to demand, right? Because everybody went home and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I need IT. This is also due to the complexity. When you push everything to the cloud, when you have remote environments, there's a lot more work on the back end to be able to support that. And it requires a more skilled tech. You can't have the junior tech come in who's paid, very little. You have to have it level up with experience to be able to handle that. Again, as a mission-focused organization, we sought to absorb that, and we did, because we knew that our clients were suffering just like we were. And our clients, again, are towns, municipalities, towns, libraries, schools, and nonprofits. So we waited to the economic conditions stabilized to start figuring out how we're going to do this, to get back on track. We understand that having, to have cost increases on us and passed on to you is a huge burden. And we've worked out an economic model that allows this to get phased in over 3 years, to essentially catch up over 3 years. Lisbon has requested a 1-year reprieve from this process, and because we are longtime partners, we're absolutely happy to do so. And we want to work with administrative staff to find other line items where we can save. We are all frugal. We have experience in things from copiers to payroll to electricity, lighting. We work with a lot of different towns, and we hear a lot of different things. And we're able to bring those to bear to help, business managers to figure out, okay, we just happen to know that, you're paying probably a little too much for this, or, and you can have those discussions about see if we have cost offsets. That's our goal for this year, is to work with that and then to come back with a 3-year proposal to get back on track. So for this year, it's kind of combining what I just said and what Darren said. Equipment, these are first 2 are estimates. A normal life cycle plan for hardware for Lisbon is in the neighborhood of about $70,000. But because there's some refresh catch-up needs to happen, right, because there's other business priorities, everybody was trying to deal with the pandemic as best they could. Again, Lisbon's about 2 years behind, and tech debt, and to try to catch up, this is it. So a quick breakdown is that right now, those 372 Chromebooks, if I remember correctly, they are at end of warranty. So if one breaks, you can try to pay us to fix it, but it's not worth it at that point. And so this estimate is for 100 Chromebooks because you don't know when they're going to break. And so so you're kind of getting back on a cycle, kind of not, because you're not going to deploy until you need it. But this kind of gets you halfway to, a big part of the way to getting back on track. So those Chromebooks with the 3-year warranties is about $50,000 of this cost. There's 48 iPads need to be replaced, that's $15,000. There's 45 laptops need to be replaced, another $45,000. From there, so on and so forth. And Novus, we have a 5% increase for this year, which is not part of the catch-up. That is due to the economic forecast over the next 18 months. As we go over the next 4 years, if we see that the economic conditions change, we will adjust our pricing appropriately. Again, we're not seeking to make margins, we're seeking to cover costs with a little bit of extra, and we adjust accordingly. I know we flew through it. Any questions? So again, this is not technically the lifecycle management. This is just catching up. But 100 Chromebooks, 48 iPads, 45 laptops, $13,000 worth of others, which is actually kind of lifecycle management we're working with Jonathan on. For And then the UPSs. So the UPSs, you end up paying about 40% of the cost because the government picks up the other 60%. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. These are estimates, and obviously, as the board has to adjust, they can adjust, but the risk benefit analysis that obviously I'm sure this board has had lots of fun analyzing that for the past several years.
Tell them thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we're on to item C, which is attorney's response to committee membership and possible action. So I'll take this one.
Okay.
We had a discussion at the last meeting about standing subcommittees and how many people were allowed to be on the subcommittees and what the role of the ex officio was. So I did some research and I forwarded it to Sally from OLR Research, said that the ex officio is allowed to be in the committee meeting, he's allowed to participate, he's allowed to vote, but he doesn't count towards a quorum. All right, so on a nine-member board, if you have 5 people, that constitutes a quorum, which means it's a regular board meeting, which means it has to be posted and all that. Subcommittees normally are 4, so we're not at a quorum, we don't have to post. But since the ex officio does not count towards the total in the subcommittee, we can actually have 5. So Katie had asked if she could be on the finance and negotiation subcommittees, and we initially told her no, but if she's still interested, I think we should vote to put her back on those committees.
I am still interested.
You're still interested. All right, good. You good with it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think you did great.
All right, great.
It was a good song.
So let's do a motion.
Well,
Judy.
Well, go ahead, Judy.
I just wanted to know what the intent was.
Intent.
So we are 9 members.
Yep.
And I understand what the attorney wrote, but if we have the majority, including the ex officio, on a committee, then the committee decides whatever the committee decides. The majority has already voted and doesn't need to even come back to the rest of the members.
But we don't vote. We don't vote as a subcommittee.
No, but you make recommendations. So we can just take the budget. We
Sure.
can just take the contract.
Yeah.
Just pick whatever the policies.
Yep.
And so if you have the majority of the members on a committee and they make a decision, it's fair to assume that they're going to come here and it's already passed because the committee did the work. And I wonder, do you just want a smaller board?
No. So every committee I've ever served on this board or any other board that we've had, we go through things at the subcommittee level and we bring it back to the full board for a vote, right? Not everybody on a subcommittee agrees with everything, every decision that's made in that subcommittee. So since we don't vote, it really doesn't matter until we bring it back to the board.
The committee comes and makes a recommendation, and then the discussion is held from there.
Right.
So I'm just asking what the thought process is behind it on why
Well,
we
the
need.
thought process was Katie wanted to be on the board so that she could learn what we did in the budget subcommittee and she could learn what we did in negotiations.
And we have had board members sit as an audience member to learn those things.
Right.
But they have to, now we know. They
Right.
could have been on the committee, so.
And I think part of being able to sit at the table is that you can have that conversation and ask the questions, whereas if you're in the audience, you can't, right?
Right.
Correct.
You can participate.
With that being said, if we're going up to 4, can I go back to the awards committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Any other discussion about that? And I'm open. So we went to the attorney, board attorney, because the research that I did was not a legal opinion. And the board attorney apparently researched it pretty thoroughly and came back and said that what we concluded was correct, that the ex officio does not count towards a quorum. So I would like to make a motion to adjust the subcommittees to put Katie Vane on the negotiation and budget subcommittees, finance subcommittees, and put Karen back on the awards committee. Warren seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, so it's hands. In favor?
Yeah, I missed it.
So in favor, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
7,
Okay.
6, 7. And opposed? 1. All right. So the motion passes. All right. That's done. Now we are on to policy. So the majority of these policies, I hope you've read them, but they're Series 1000s, and they're pretty much boilerplate things from Shipman and Goodwin. Again, we transitioned from Cave to Shipman and Goodwin, so we have to review them, make sure that they meet the spirit of what we're looking for, and then approve them as individually as a board. So that's where we're at, right? You have anything to add, Karen?
We basically left everyone the same except for policy series 1000, it's the third one, use of school facilities. We had combined the previous policy with basically just the fees and other costs. So on page 3 of that particular policy, not to jump ahead, it's just the previous fees. And then on page 5, we added managing life-threatening food allergies in school and school responsibilities of such. So
That came from one of our Cave policies.
It was our old policy.
This
Yeah.
was our old policy.
Yep.
We combined it with the Shipman and Goodwin policy.
Yeah.
Because we liked it.
Okay. Okay. Now you changed the smoking one too, right? They added quite a bit to that. Which was
Against smoking.
it smoking in the school ground or use of?
Prohibition against smoking.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Prohibition. Oh.
Do I have it? Oh yeah. So you guys just expanded it to the parking lot and any school grounds, right? So do we have any like teachers that vape or anything like that? They go out to their car during lunch and vape? Not that you know of. All right. Okay, so we can go through these here. We'll go through these and vote on them. All right, so policy series 1000, automatic external defibrillators. We need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, policy regarding automatic external defibrillators.
You want to do that?
I'll make the,
Oh,
go ahead, they're gonna just do it for all of them.
Okay, and you'll second, you'll continue to do that?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Please
Great.
do.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? I need a motion to approve policy series 1000, policy regarding automatic external defibrillators. Same. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, policies passed. Okay, now we need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, pesticide application on school property. School property.
Yep.
Randy seconds.
Yep.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Now we need a motion to approve policy series 1000, uses,
That's okay.
policy series 1000, pesticide application on school property.
Yep.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Joe.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. Yes.
We met, but thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. So was that the first read or was that?
Yep.
You waived it and then you did.
Okay,
so
good.
we're moving
So I'm good. All right, so now we need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, use of school facilities.
Yep.
Discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And we need a policy to approve policy series, what did I say? I said, we need a motion to approve.
You said a policy to.
All right, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We need a motion to approve policy series 1000, use of school facilities. All right. Discussion? All those in favor?
Wait a minute.
Up, Joe?
I think Joe.
Yell, Joe. Use your microphone.
You gotta bend it.
Okay, just, I want to be clear, if, so this policy works together with the merging of the old policy in there with the allergens. So can we mandate then too that certain groups, if they're going to be serving food, are going to be required to pay the custodial fee so that we ensure the cleanup is adequate to protect our students, or, okay. And that's fine to mandate that for our legal counsel?
That was in the old policy.
The old one was cave, this one's shipment.
Okay, but it is, okay, enforceable, we can actually require that then.
I'm sure we researched it before we approved the old policy.
Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure.
You're just trying to verify.
Yes. Just seems like one of those things where people might take exception and, you know, at having to pay something when they think that they can do it adequately enough on their own. But, okay, just as long as.
I think in my experience, anytime you use the school, you have to pay the custodial fees. Whoever does, whoever.
Okay.
Even, like, we use it for the PTO, right? We
Right.
always have to pay the custodial fees, so that it's cleaned by them. Always.
As a matter of course. Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All right. All's in favor? Opposed? Was that the first read or was that?
That was your first. Well, you're almost there.
All right. So now we need a motion to approve policy series 1000, use of school facilities. Discussion? Joe, got anything? No? Good. All right. All's in favor? Opposed? Good. All right. Now we need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, school security and safety. Discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion to approve policy series school security and safety. Discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? Good. Getting there.
Yep.
All right. So now we need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, visitors and observations in schools. Did I skip one?
It's about the same.
We'll go back to it.
Oh, okay, all right. That's fine.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we need a motion to approve policy series 1000, visitors and observations in schools. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. What?
What's the one you put up?
I don't need that. So now we need a motion to waive the first read on policy series 1000, prohibition against smoking. Discussion? Yes.
Just clarify, the senior center parking lot, is that covered under this or no?
I think that's considered our parking lot. We don't own that.
It would be nice perhaps that if the town would consider trying to maintain consistency, only because that area is used for drop off and pick up. And I think now the common expectation is that people aren't smoking in the line of kids being dropped off and picked up. But if you express that to be not enforceable on the current policy based on that designation. I'm not sure how to best resolve or clarify that, but I mean, other towns put up a sign that the parks facilities, so I don't know if we cover that lot, but I think it would be nice that somehow that could be consistent, such that you didn't have, you mentioned it, our teachers were, they couldn't go into that lot, but if they were parked down here, they could. It kind of creates, I think, a little bit of a campus quandary if it's not equally, and I know it's not our lot, and we have a better drop-off plan and such, but I don't know how that impacts the active life curve group. I apologize for my non-upper terminology.
So I think the town has had a non-smoking policy for a very long time, and there were signs on the outside of that building saying no smoking. I don't know if they're still there.
Out the outside of the building, that covers the traditional building only and.
No, everywhere. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, yes.
And I think it's nice that we know that, that we've got someone in the process that we know we're in accordance with our current regulations policy.
I think the state of Connecticut has a law that prohibits smoking in a car with a child, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if they're sitting out there dropping their kid off or picking them up, they're not supposed to be smoking anyway.
In theory, if they're picking them up, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, that they're waiting and picking them up. Until such time it is picked up, they wouldn't be in violation of that component, but it would be something I think someone in line would say something to them. And, I've said it before to some people, and I've been told not. That was a couple years ago, but I don't know, just like to make sure that we do. Don't know how.
Makes sense for the kids when they're getting picked up. Kids are on the track even, so it makes sense to be consistent. We'll have to look to see if the signs are there still, Judy. On the outside. Yeah, and I think you can't on the track either.
I think there is a sign on the fence that
That's what I
says,
mean, no
yeah.
smoking on the track. So.
So what committee would that go to at the town? Yeah, or what committee would they have?
I think that would be the senior center. Senior center.
I was just gonna say a general town.
Yeah.
Send an email.
I can send them an email.
Yeah, just
Okay.
find out.
All right. So where were we, Katie?
Last one, motion to approve.
Now, did we approve that
We
one?
waived
No.
it. Oh, because we had a question.
No, he had a question.
So we're on the waive or
Yep.
the? All right. So we had discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we need a motion to approve policy series 1000, prohibition against smoking. Discussion? Any more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay, lastly, we need a motion to waive first read on policy series 1000, school volunteers, student interns, and other non-employees. Discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? All right. And lastly, we need a motion to approve policy series 1000, school volunteers, student interns, and other non-employees. Discussion? All's in favor? Opposed? You're done with that policy. Thank you, Karen. Okay. Who else?
Brandy.
Fran?
Well, this time, you're usually Christopher.
Christopher? Good job. So how far into
Everybody came at some point. You need.
how far into this transition are we? You think we're at 50%?
No. There's so many.
Do we have any of the major subsections done?
Yeah, you meant left, I know, yeah.
Do we have like all series 9000 stuff done? I thought we did 9000 last week. All right, great. Well, I appreciate the effort.
Some that we
You and
did
I
are
hate
gonna come
policy.
back.
I appreciate the effort.
As soon as we get done.
I was gonna say, and we also,
Because we
yeah,
did some and now they're already changing.
Karen and I attended the CAVE training, and they had just said that there's a bunch of them that we just passed through that are coming back again. So
Yeah, so
It's a revolving door of policy.
our new board members, Karen and Brandy, attended the Board of Education member training in Hartford, right? Weathersfield. They said it was really good. Okay, so on item E, dissemination of board meeting packets and possible action.
Yeah, this has to do with, well, currently the Board of Ed packets are delivered to your doors, as you know that. There was a suggestion that packets be emailed to you, and then on a Friday, let's say, and then hard copies be given to you at the actual meeting. And that's on the table for discussion. Is that right?
That's,
I don't know.
who wants to speak to it?
Well, actually, you gotta ask the board chair.
So the question was, do we want electronic packets or paper packets? My initial response was electronic. But after having a discussion with other board members and Sally, I write on those things. So I've changed my mind. I would rather go paper, stay paper. So
Can I ask a question regarding that?
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to that whatsoever, so don't think that. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So I'm not opposed at all, but if we go back to delivering to the doors, there are about 4 or 5 board members that have kids in the school. Could we put theirs in the backpack of the student? It cuts down on time, money, and effort. But if that's a problem, because I see oh look.
I do have a concern because what if it got lost or what if it got taken? Like,
Well, it is a public document,
So-
public information.
I don't mind, but my son is completely irresponsible. So as long as a responsible adult is gonna put it in there,
Yeah, that's what used to
Because-
do. They actually went in and put it in.
yeah, as long as an adult is putting it in there, if you're just handing it to him, it's never gonna get to me.
Yeah.
So, but
The practice
I don't
was
mind.
the person, well, let's say Colleen, okay, would go into the room and actually ask and put it in because of that whatever issue, whatever. But
as long as I just want, it has been done in the past. Natalie has been
it
given.
was the practice.
Yes, it was. So I just wanted to clarify that. That always made me nervous. What happened if I had a, 3rd or 4th grader that was in charge of this packet and didn't get to me? Like, I didn't want her to get in trouble.
Oh, I see.
we
That's
could,
all.
there's a Board of Education mailbox. We could stack all the packets in there and we could all come in and get our own.
Well, that was discussed, a few, yeah, a few people, right. Well, this is not the first time it came up. And I only say a few because I think a couple are still on board. But I don't care. Like I said, it's not gonna affect what I do. It's really what you all want.
I like getting it delivered by the kid better. I don't know this problem. I had it twice over the years where it got put in my mailbox and the mail person
Took it.
because they thought it was outgoing mail. And I got it back a few days later with postage due because there was no stamp on it.
Oh my gosh.
That's unique. So it went through a weird cycle. So I'm more than happy to have the kids take it home whenever they can.
Okay. All right.
All right, so that's pretty much status quo, so.
That is
seems
pretty
like
much.
consensus. All right, good.
Okay.
But are you gonna have them sent home with the kids
Yes.
instead?
Yes. Well, some of you don't have kids, so
I thought,
here in the school anymore, so it'll be delivered.
Now, they get delivered to our house.
Because somehow that got changed, but I'm not really sure how. But that's okay.
I don't have any kids.
No, we delivered to your door.
No, it'll be delivered to those who don't have children
Correct.
in school.
Yeah.
But for those who do, they can just be put in their
Correct.
bag.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so item F, LCS cafeteria floor and possible action.
McGlow. Mr. McGlow, sorry.
It's all good. So you asked for a price to do the cafeteria floor over. If we do the existing floor, sand it down, new lines and poly it, we're about $28,700 to
That's
do it over.
cafeteria or the gym?
Cafeteria. Do you have a question?
Yeah, that was just the cafeteria.
Just the cafeteria,
So
yes.
the other quote that we got for the gym would be on top of the 28,000, so it'd be 40 something plus the 28. Is that what it was?
More, it's actually more than that by the time you add all
Yeah.
the lines and everything else. Now, if you choose to go with the rubber-based flooring, you're about 89,000
For the gym?
for the cafeteria.
Cafeteria.
We're still in a cap.
Brian, you said the first one was sanding it down, refinishing it, and just repainting the existing line.
And adding pickleball.
Okay.
Gotta have pickleball.
In the cafeteria?
Yes, they use it, yep. And volleyball. And then it'd be another $6,000 to cover the stage, sanding it down. They're not gonna put rubber on that, but just sand it down and refinish it.
And again, what was the estimated floor life? I know the cost difference is tremendous. What was the estimated floor life between the redoing the wood versus the rubberized court? Did they provide that information?
They did not. Oh, I could ask them. I do. Are we moving on to the next one?
Oh, yeah.
So for the gym, and 1 second. So the base price to do the gym was $42,680. But by the time you add in all the extras, I think we're somewhere around 70 to 79,000. I don't have that number in front of me. I left it downstairs, but to add the pickleball, the extra volleyball lines, and remove the cans for the existing volleyball over to accommodate the spacing issue, and patching the floors were about $79,000. That's a refinish.
A big bulk of that cost is the recanning of the volleyball. It's not a big cost, but it's a significant cost.
That's a big thing, yeah.
Because of the adding to and removing to.
This is also adding cans for full court play.
So we're looking at about 113K for both spaces.
Plus or minus, yeah.
Which is just about what we have in there.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna do a 50-50 split?
That hasn't been decided.
I don't know. Oh,
All right, so now that we
Yes.
have the estimates, we should set up a meeting with the rec committee.
Yeah.
And discuss what we want to do going forward.
Yep.
All right? And I'd really like to see an option to keep the wood in the cafeteria. Can they give us that estimate?
That's
I thought that was rubber.
No, that
No,
was
the
That was
rubber's
89,000.
80.
27, 28,
28 was for the wood.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So rubber was 89.
Yeah.
Not cheap.
I would still like to see any proposal that goes to both the town and the rec commission to be more reflective of a third, where if we're dipping into the new Charter account, we decide to go that way, it's not asking for all that we can give. I think that something like this should be something that should be part of the school budget. I just always worry that when we start self-funding, for lack of a better term, what should be, in my mind, town-based funding, it's a slippery slope.
Yep, I understand.
There is a meeting this Thursday where the rec committee's going over their budget. So right. Because we canceled it.
I also reached out to 2 other vendors. One was Delane Flooring, and I emailed them and called them, and nobody ever responded back on this. The other company was called Gymnasium Floors, Inc. They're out of Massachusetts. I gave him the exact specs of what the other company has given us for a proposal, and got back to me today. His numbers are lower, but he doesn't have it. It's not apples for apples. So for him to come in and do the cafeteria right now, we're looking at about 14.8, and then for him to do the gymnasium, we're at 33 and change. But that's not, he doesn't have everything in there. He's missing lines for volleyball. He's missing the extra set of cans, and he just didn't follow what I was asking for. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question to it's Katie or Brandy? Did you say that you're meeting Thursday night on their budget?
Rec committee.
The topic.
Oh, so there'll be more meetings?
Has to be in by.
Because
I know. Yeah.
I mean, just to go to Dave's point, how will this transpire? Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to go? Is that okay? It would be acceptable, maybe. Okay. Well.
So just leave it general. Just say, we're interested in redoing the gym and cafeteria floors for both the LCS students and Lisbon Rec, and we have a rough estimate of about 120,000.
Well, I'm okay with. I'm on the rec. I have no idea how it runs. Is that right?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
All right, I'll do that.
Because you're right. It's a timing thing.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Is there any other discussion about that? Thanks, Mr. McGlue. All right, the Ducharme survey and possible action.
I wasn't going to take this, but
Randy, right?
Brandy,
Yeah.
oh, boy, okay.
I put a little bar chart with information on the table for everybody. Sorry, I didn't have enough in color, so some of yours are gray, but I just did
This is nice.
as they came in, I put like categorization so that we could get a little summary of what they are, and so that's what you see at the top. So we have about 13 suggestions that included some sort of building update. There were 4 that had classroom updates, 6 for student activities or field trips, 1 about tuition, and then 9 for outdoor updates. And then down below, it gives you a listing of all of them. There were, I'm going to say 3 or 4 suggestions of using money for the gym floor or the calf floor. And anybody who suggested utilizing the money to do updates to the spaces, seemed to also put in a suggestion of naming that space after them. So there was also a suggestion of updating media center furniture and naming the library after the Ducharme Center. So that sort of thing. So there was.
I just want
No, not really suggested. After the Ducharme family. So the Ducharme family gym, the Ducharme library, right? So I did include in here, so there was a suggestion of the air conditioning in the gym or the calf. Someone put in a suggestion and stated fixing or a new roof and said their kids report leaking it. I figured we put that out there so Brian could get that because he doesn't get these results. I don't know what comes through, you know. A hanging system in the hallway for artwork, an indoor climbing gym, basketball hoops in the cafeteria, special needs facility with equipment, a very detailed, if you guys get a chance to look, summary of a computer lab update suggestion, very, very detailed by grade level, special needs and gifted programs, upgrading the science department, some outdoor updates were community garden, a new jungle gym, outdoor seating, and some of that was specified as needing for track and field area doesn't have much seating down there. Outdoor structure for shade, playground updates or expansion for larger kids. Swings was a suggestion. A book vending machine where kids could earn gold coins to get a free book. Field trip funding, a greenhouse, student of the month or success breakfast with parents, and then a suggestion to use it to fund pre-K tuition. And so this was everything that had been submitted as of Friday afternoon. And then reviewing that with the former requests, there are some similarities in what had been submitted. So the form is still open to be collecting responses. We didn't set a date on when we wanted to close that, but we haven't received any responses since about December 7th. So.
Well, thank you. So, I'm not sure what the possible action is.
I have a question. May I?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're writing a letter, which is wonderful. Thank you to the rec committee, which leads me to believe, but am I off on this, that we may be using some of the Ducharme money for that project? Would a motion have to be made by the board? It dawned on me tonight, if you're going to do all this with that letter to try to get it started. I could be off on that, but
I would almost think that we need to know what they're going to put in to do this.
So it's still up in the air then.
I would think so.
Okay.
I agree with Judy. I think it's
fine.
Still too early.
I think this wasn't even on our want list up until we got the letter from Recreation. So, Brandy, I really appreciate you doing this. It's a great job, the chart that you did. And I was wondering as we were going, Brandy was reading the list, should we divide up the Ducharme money into different categories? Let's say pick 3 of these, and then, I don't know, a third. I don't even know how you would do that. And then spend some money on each of these categories. And then we would touch more people. I don't know.
I think we need to figure out what the rec committee's gonna put in, what the town's gonna put in.
I don't really see all this happening this year.
Oh, that's where you're going.
Well, when you look at the timeline for the budgets, and if you look at asking each of the 3 of them to contribute, I don't think it's on the radar for the Board of Selectmen budget. Are we prepared to, do something firm, either right now or in the next meeting? We have a long list of things for the budget that's being prepared. I really think that we're jumping the gun. I think we need to know what recreation is going to contribute. But when we look at this one-time gift, I think we need to be cautious in how we're going to spend that.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
I'm in a lot of agreement with Dave too, with the fact that like I don't want to see all of the Ducharme money fund just the gymnasium floor when there are so many other things that we can do that will benefit the school as a whole. So I wouldn't have a problem with maybe saying, hey, let's set aside this chunk of money as a possibility, but like a max amount for that. And then we could start to look at what are some other options on this that we might be able to do, like the hanging system for the art in the hallways, right? For example, that's something that is a relatively easy thing that might be able to be tackled, that we could get some quotes on and maybe move forward versus the other stuff that might take a long time.
Kind of like what you did with the ADA walkway. See, that's how I thought this was going. Not that you take the vote, but where you did a threshold,
Yeah.
which I think is what you're alluding to,
Yep.
or maybe that's. But that's where I thought it was going. But if I'm wrong,
I think that's a correct motion to go in. Is that
I
way?
just think some kind of
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I think you could take this list, I mean, if you think of the spirit of the gift, you know, a lot of these things don't qualify, right? So repairs to the building, that's not in the spirit of the gift, right? It's supposed to be something that serves all of LCS and the community. So, you know, we can narrow this down quite a bit, and I agree that we should set some threshold, but we have to start somewhere, right? So we have to tell the rec committee, hey, you know, we're interested in pursuing updating the floors for recreational purposes in the cafeteria and the gym. They haven't been touched in, you know, 50 years. Or how long is the gym's been there since 1991, right? That was when that floor was installed.
I think it's 85.
85?
But that room actually, back in the day, a long time ago, there was a underground, under the wood floor water supply line, and it blew. And it sat there all day long pumping water because nobody knew how to shut off the pumps.
Right.
So I don't know when it was replaced though, but
So they actually replaced it.
they had to. It was just saturated.
All right, so I'll write that letter, and I think I'll write it to the Board of Finance also.
And the other thing too is when Dave mentioned the third, our part of it doesn't have to come from the Duchamp money. We could put it in the budget next year. You know, we're not prepared to do that now, but we could. And that's why I'm saying I think it's a little premature to be jumping all over this right now when it wasn't even on our radar 3 months ago. So I don't know.
I think that with these suggestions as well, that the basketball hoops in the cafeteria are not something that's utilized by the school, and so I'd like to see that more as a suggestion that's given towards the rec department because that's who utilizes it. So if they need to be updated, that be something that they take on.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we just had go ahead, Dave.
I do like how the Ducharme separate funding, the scholarship, was something that was set up that it provides on a multi-year basis. And I'm thinking that maybe something, some portion of this, along the lines of field trips, wouldn't be a bad thing if you were at a certain amount that was self-funding, where the interest or whatever, or a small portion of it was being used for a specific annual function, but the majority of that money was coming from interest from that fund, that kind of like the scholarship money, that X amount of dollars of each grade is contributed to. Now, we had some good funding for field trips through COVID-related stuff that kind of disappeared, right?
Correct. There's no more. Right.
And I think it would be a nice thing that would benefit every student, whatever it was. $5, portion depending on the age of the year, but if you took, I don't know, $5,000 a year for field trips, I don't know how much that would offset. I know it's on the list there, but something where it's not a one-time full expenditure, but rather creating a fund that can maybe offset somehow. So I'm not a very financial kind of guy. I don't know if that's possible, not for talking here, but
Dave, I remember there was a conversation about whether or not that was possible as well. I wasn't on the board then, so I don't remember exactly, but there had been question about whether or not this particular fund could be set up to do that. And so it might be helpful to look back to see if we're allowed to, with it being the bequest the way that it was given.
Judy, do you remember? Because I do remember talking about that. With this, the Helen's was different from Ethel's was different from Gerald's. Is that what I'm getting?
Yes,
Helen? All
yes,
right.
they are
All
very
right.
different.
So they were different. So I
Yes.
don't think Gerald's could be set up like that.
Well, I don't know that.
Do you
I
know?
don't know that it couldn't. I think it was something about like we had to make sure that it wasn't we were solely investing it. Like we had to do something with the money. So I think that maybe if we could we look into whether or not we could set a portion apart that was for field trips that could pay out X amount each year and still gain interest to finance it longer. That's a.
I don't know. Do you remember, Jeff?
I thought when we were talking about investing it and everything, we were talking about the Ethel money, and that's when we found the foundation and that solved all of that.
That might be it.
With the Gerald money, we had gotten back information from people that had ideas, and then we didn't know what to do. Right. And right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. and actually, it's not lack of action. It's trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It's
Yes.
Oh, it has. It's grown nicely.
Well, we have had it set aside for certain things, but we luckily didn't have to use it for those things. So
Well, that's what
Right.
happened
Yeah.
was with the walkway, and so everything was put on hold because of that, because we didn't know, and then we didn't have to spend
right.
any
That's
money.
what I mean.
So
it worked out. But,
yeah.
And it grew. So.
And then I wonder if we take the paper that Brandy gave us, and if we all came back with 5 things that we really liked, would we find common ideas and be able to figure this out better?
Yeah, because like she said, some of them do overlap to the old too. So that's kind of important. If they're repeating, then obviously they are important if they're getting repeated. So I agree, Judy. It would be nice to come back because it's a big list, and some of them are things that don't fit the criteria. So we can just take those off the list.
And some of them might be things that we could do in a different way that aren't even part of this money, like the book vending machine. I love that idea, just a little bit you talked about. So is that something that could happen without the Duchamp money? And maybe it could be a board activity, and we come up with how to do that and not pass it off to staff. Other things I know, like the swings. I'd love to see swings, but we don't have the playground space to put them.
I was just going to say, so is there some of the stuff that we might need to say, hey, Brian, could you look into, do we even have space to put a structure outside for shade somewhere, right? Like, is that something that's possible? The seating that people are asking for outside for sporting events, is there somewhere that we have space to put more seating? I know we do have some bleachers, but is it something that we even have the ability to move forward with?
Right.
Or because of limitations in space that we don't?
And as far as shade, is somebody thinking that, a big wooden pavilion or just putting up those sunshades, the top kinds of things. So if we were doing that, that's pretty affordable. But if we're going to put up a big wooden structure, that's probably more money than what we have.
And restricted to the amount of space we have.
And is it possible, could we have maybe an action item for next month that we bring back an actual diagram or photo, whatever, of what the school's actual outdoor space is? Because I think that it's a common misconception among the community what the school actually has for outdoor space versus what is town-based that the school utilizes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Brian let me know. Because I thought swings were a great idea.
Don't we have swings?
Yeah. Yeah.
We do. There's not many.
We do have some swings, but we looked into trying to expand, and the property didn't.
Correct.
Remember this?
Plus, when they put the track in, we had swings down below,
Right.
and we lost.
We lost them.
So the rec department did buy us a set of swings, but we're so cramped for space out there, we don't really have the stuff.
Well, and
clearance.
so with that though, is this like other stuff that maybe needs to get sent to the rec committee, right? Like, so if people are looking for seating looking at the sporting venues, those are town spaces. So maybe
Yeah.
that's something that needs to get sent back to the town, is that people are looking for more
Good
seating
point.
at these venues.
Or maybe the town needs to put in swings.
Why can't we put
down to
swings
Lisbon
inside
Meadows.
the track? Seems like an awful waste of space.
No,
Or
I
closer to the track.
actually,
I don't know if they can.
we were told, well, because something else came up about putting it in the
Because
middle.
they
They
had
said,
the high jump pit in
Yeah.
there, and they couldn't, and they do, I think shot put and stuff like that down here too, so.
but,
so I came up here this weekend to see, we had talked about, the parking and the driveway and all that kind of stuff. And because I really like swings, it's like, what could we do? So if you look between here and the firehouse, there's a lot of land and there is wetlands. I saw that. But if you took, so we have the parking lot here by 138, and then the town mows a big section, but before you get to the firehouse, if that all became parking lot, we would have playground space down where some of the teachers park, and then we could have swings. And of course, that's going to cost a whole lot more money than Duchamps. But I mean, that could be, like a 5-year plan or something.
But then also you're splitting recess space between the back of the school.
Oh,
and
I
the
fully
school.
I fully understand the problems, but what's the advantages?
You could also move preschool out front.
Yeah,
or
that's what I was
preschool, and
thinking.
then the
Little
preschool-
kids, big kids.
The preschool area down here could be taken over for the older kids.
So what I was thinking when I was looking is you'd have the little kids up here and then the middle school down there. I have no idea.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just a thought,
It is a good thought.
a
It makes
possibility.
sense. Yeah. Who knows if it's doable.
All right, so I will write a letter to the Board of Finance and the Rec Committee expressing our interest in doing those two spaces and wanting to know if their budgets can support contributing to it. And we'll work on this Ducharme thing at the next meeting, I guess.
yeah, I think
It's probably going to be on the
it'll
agenda
probably be recurring for a while.
a long time.
Yeah, I mean, to do it right.
And do we want to leave the survey open, and if so,
Yeah.
how long do we want to leave it open for?
I'll just leave it open.
Oh, I would think you need an endpoint because how are you going to manage this if you keep getting new ideas and things bump around?
Maybe the last idea is the best.
It could be, but
I say you could leave it open until we start talking budgetary, like what are we doing a cutoff on? So for now, you could leave it open, but eventually, when we start talking dollar amounts, you're gonna have to cut it off.
Sure.
but why don't we cut it off like at the end of January?
So I was thinking if we could cut it off before our January meeting, and then if we make movement, then we can go, okay, we spent X amount, reopen it if needed, right?
We
So-
haven't seen another input since December 7th, right?
Correct.
And end of January.
Clarification, for us. So going back to Judy's point then, because our budget, if we're let's pretend it goes with the gym and the 3-way split and all that. Well, our budget is, we're doing it now. So are we is it more long range that we're looking for the following year if we went with the rec committee?
I would say it's probably not happening this
Right?
year. It would be
Okay.
I think from the Board of Ed standpoint, we have to say, like, we probably cannot sustain adding it to our budget this year,
Correct.
right? So,
Yeah, there's no way.
this is the estimate that we had, and we can pass it to the rec committee, but we're
You're
already
looking
in
the
the
following
throes of
year
it as
maybe.
well.
Yeah, like, right? If we did it, I'm just saying, we're looking at the following year. Yeah,
Yes.
at least. Okay.
I just don't see it. I mean,
No,
we're meeting next week,
Right,
and
this week,
I don't see this being a part of that budget.
I mean, which is
those
fine.
gym
We
floors.
just wanted to clarify. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, is there any more
Oh, wait a
discussion on that? Yep.
I was gonna say, can we send it again? Yeah.
I would say send it again with it will end on, kind of like this is your.
Right.
Yeah, can we put the end date for the Friday before the next Board of Ed meeting, please?
Could we send it out every week?
If that's what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, might as well.
do a countdown.
Do you want it separate or do you want it part of the event?
Both.
Did this also get sent to the staff? I remember you guys sent it to the staff as well.
It
Perfect.
did. It went.
Just one.
So wait, you said both twice a week?
Well, we sent it individually.
sent in as part of the parents. Parents goes every week.
Yeah.
Because we hear the parents saying, "Oh, I didn't see that," or "There was too many links, I didn't do that." So
Yeah,
this
so you
way,
send it
this
without
way,
the
there's
link and like by itself.
there's no
and then
excuse.
with the link. Gotcha. Yep. Okay.
you know, then there's no
No, that makes
excuse.
sense.
All right. There's a plan.
Okay.
All right, so committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? The finance subcommittee's meeting Thursday at 3:30. We're going to start the budget process for the 26 budget. Yeah. God, I'm getting. And the policy committee meeting was canceled, right, or postponed? Because it was supposed to be the same.
Yeah,
day.
we haven't picked a day yet.
I think we did, January 13th at 4.
Haven't picked a day.
So does the finance committee trump the policy committee? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Well,
Is that a problem for you?
I was wondering why
Because it was
we had our
first.
study. No.
I'll tell you why. Because Ian and I had talked, and we went back and forth a little bit for various reasons, which you'll hear about at the finance committee. And we finally decided, and then I was at the policy committee meeting, and that was scheduled on the very same day we had just
Okay.
decided.
Gotcha.
So it's not really
That makes sense.
trumping. It was a timing issue.
All right.
Okay, sorry. It was Sally cheating. That's what it was.
Just blame Ian.
All right, so additions to this agenda, anybody want to talk about anything else? Go ahead.
I want to talk about these. and I wasn't at the last meeting, and I started to listen, and I heard Katie tried to listen to the meeting before that she missed. It is the most frustrating thing that you can ever imagine, trying to listen to the link that is on our website. So I think that we have a few options. We can continue doing what we're doing. We can stop recording it so that people aren't frustrated when they try to listen to it, or we can get better sound systems.
We try one thing differently, perhaps. Does it make sense to put the recording computer device closer to us? Still having the speaker being the primary service for the public, but having, I don't know if that would work any better. I don't know how the microphone is. No? Okay. So the system, like I said, the system plugs into the computer. So the lights are next to the receiver. Okay, the computer really has no microphone. It's not external microphone picking up that. Right.
So it's just these?
So
These are the problem?
How old are these? Do we know?
They've at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, and they just left.
I think
Oh, it's an owl.
I think we should use like headset booms. Headsets with a little thing. Yeah.
What? All of us?
How much does it cost? I'm always about money, but
How much? Ooh. So at that cost, maybe we should look at it for not this budget season, but next budget season. But I really think we need to do something. Go and try to listen to this.
It is.
yeah,
It's
a lot of people
painful.
say,
Yeah.
I didn't get as far as you said you got. I was like, I'm done.
I have my TV up to over 45 on the volume, and I sat in front of it to listen to it. Even then,
Yeah.
it was, and you rewind, go
Yeah,
back to hear.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
is-
don't even the wind outside can't even blow.
No.
Trying to listen to this. It was horrible.
Are we pretty certain that we're doing our best with what we have technologically? It's not an obvious question. They say, oh, if we just did this, and this. I'm not by any means technical enough. Do we know?
Right.
Is
So like,
That's a good question.
can we ask Oz when he comes in? That's what my daughter calls him.
Did you say
Oz.
Maybe
It's
maybe we
okay.
need to ask one of the two guys that was here.
Yeah. That's what we pay 'em.
No, I'm just saying because you know that's the owner and the other head guy. Let's ask him.
Yeah, we can do that.
If he's here, maybe we can see if we can make it better.
Yeah, makes sense.
Either make it better or give us a recommendation.
Okay.
How about that?
And how old are these?
I would say at least 5 years.
I was.
They were pre-COVID, right?
Yes, they were pre-COVID.
That and the feedback that they kick off for minimal, like tonight. There's a lot of feedback that.
Yeah. All right, any other additions to tonight's agenda? Very good. All right, next agenda, and we got to add the Ducharme, right?
I'd like to see if we could get a presentation on the computer class curriculum, just because it got me curious after reading the suggestion that was there and going through the presentation from Novus to see kind of what the kids are learning.
About Michael Davidson's and what is what the kids are instructed on and what they do.
Yeah, the different grade levels
Okay,
that
gotcha.
they're learning.
All right. Okay.
I think that's doable.
And if he needs any, like,
I don't think there'd be a problem with Michael coming. And no, I really don't.
you think we could ask him if he feels like there's any. Yes, right? Since it's on the survey about updating the media center, so not only his curriculum, but is there anything that he feels that we should be doing that Lisbon's not doing? As far
Like
as curriculum?
equipment or software.
Anything, yeah. It is a dangerous
Well-
question, but it's on the list. Yeah, me neither. I'm curious.
I mean everything. You know, when we have our math scores and our science scores and stuff.
Correct.
How do we compare with other school systems?
It's a good idea. Oh, we're supposed to be following state standards. So maybe that's what Michael has to talk about.
Yeah, because what are the
Yeah,
standards?
yeah. I think it's a great idea. I don't have a problem. Do you? No, we can do that. Yeah, no problem.
Any other additions? The next month's agenda? Yes, Dave.
I would like, especially the high improvement in some of the kids tonight, and anything that we can do to encourage them to put in a strong effort. Would there be, I don't know, any resistance? I wouldn't want to necessarily base it on any grade level achievement, but improvement. Would there be any interest in having like, and in the award, this grade level have the biggest improvement in English or in that? Again, I'm asking that of you and I'm asking that I don't want to in any way create a unhappy group of anybody, but just something else to try to encourage everybody to do their best.
Healthy competition.
I'm all
Yeah,
in favor.
yeah, I am too.
Ever wanted to be where it's taken for a long time.
Right.
Could only because I saw some expressions. Could we reflect on that idea and bring it back to the board meeting next month? Well, I kind of like it, but I saw some expressions so that I'm not sure whether I'm missing something. You know, that's why we discuss things. You know, so how about we bring it back? Okay. Fair. Okay. Fair.
Any other additions to next month's agenda?
Oh, Joe. SRO.
SRO.
Yeah. School resource. I am good. I checked it out. And I thought Joe did. Oh.
I think I said yes.
What's that?
Ian, you coming? Oh, for crying out.
Yep. I wondered what
No, you're
happened to
busy.
that because I didn't
Well,
see it.
and may I put one or if I may I put maybe another administrator on the committee? Okay. I just want to talk to them. Okay.
Karen, what time time did you say? Okay.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, anything else next month?
What time did I say? 8:15. Look at it.
Oh, you said 8:30, Alex.
No, I didn't. I said
Oh,
8:15.
I
I
said 8:15.
said 8:15.
Well, Sally, if you keep arguing, it won't be.
All right, public comment, we got any public comment? No public comment.
No public.
All right, so the meeting,